everyone, I'm Hazel, the marketer for PSB Academy School of Business and Management. So seated beside me is Joe Tan, who is our supply chain and logistics lecturer. So he had previously worked in Fortune 500 companies like IBM and HP, and he's very well versed in supply chain management, logistics, IT, finance, and marketing. So today Joe is devoting his time as a lecturer as well as a consultant to local startups. So today we are going to talk about logistics and e-commerce. So according to a report by Nielsen and Stripe, 8 in 10 Singaporean respondents prefer to shop online due to the convenience as well as the more choices that they have that they can see online. So 30% of my shopping expenses are spent on online because of the convenience. So Joe, do you shop online regularly?
Oh yeah, talking about e-commerce, in fact, this is a very interesting, exciting platforms. Over the e-commerce product and services offering, there are abundance of them. You can name it from air tickets, tour packages, even towards the groceries. So for myself, yeah, I did participated by buying air tickets, bank transfer, including to buy some grocery for the families. Yeah. So that's my experience with e-commerce.
I see. So I think most of the viewers out there, they do shop online, especially for air tickets, clothes, as well as food from maybe Grab food, as well as Deliveroo. So Joe, can you share with us what is e-commerce in general?
Yeah, sure. E-commerce, in fact, is a term that most of us have been using for quite some time. Let me put it in a very simple term. E-commerce actually is a platform, an internet platform that allow individuals, even company, to transact over the internet. As for a consumer, likely most of the time that we will make an online purchase of our desired product or offer or services over the internet. So e-commerce itself, if let's say to elaborate further, there are 4 major components from the consumer perspective. The first component is, for example, you want to shop for a desired item, a product, a piece of clothing, or even some groceries. So you need to have a catalog. So this catalog is a catalog of products and services for you to do selections, for you to do the online shopping. So it's a virtual mode to the extent. Once you select the products, you'll be placed under the shopping cart. So this shopping cart allows you to accumulate your selections, or even to allow you to check out at any point in time that you want to do so. So there will be a checkout area where that you need to make payments. Most of the time in today's context, we will make a payment through credit cards or even through other online facility like PayPal. Then there's next steps, which is the selections of your delivery, the mode of delivery, the shipments. So in the normal situations, the delivery may take a day or less. Let's say you want to expedite on in the shortest time or faster delivery time. So then you may activate the express delivery. But bear in mind, to have that type of fast speed delivery, it may incur a higher cost or expenses. You may need to pay more. So let me give an example that you may place an order through the catalogs, maybe a carton of milk. So from the carton of milk, you move to the shopping carts and then you check it out by making payments. Then choose your delivery methods. Then the next area which I'd like to touch on is especially the topics, the logistics behind e-commerce. We have in fact briefly described about e-commerce, but there are many questions and many people are curious. What are the logistics behind e-commerce? So far, after the checkout and choose the mode selections of the mode of delivery, the next moment you receive a doorbell, the dispatch or the delivery guy reach your doorsteps. Sometimes in today's context, you may see a couple of similar service. For example, Deliveroo, Foodpanda, and the Ninja Van. So these are a few common delivery service on the road. But this group of player, we will call it the last mile, because this is the most common common logo or common brand that we see, that we experience. And maybe I'll extend that to extend what is logistics behind the scenes. We have touched on the last mile, but do you know that behind this last mile there's a lot of activities? So back to the example of a carton of milk. My question to ask is, where does the ingredient come from? Right. So the ingredient come from the farm or the dairy cow that's in the farms. So that will be described as the input or the raw material, the ingredients, the farms. From the farm itself, the cow is being moved to the factory for the milk extractions and the processing, as well as the bottling. We are talking about a mass quantity of bottles. So once you have a mass quantity of bottles, you're going to place it at a warehouse. From the warehouse, that's where the company or the organizations need to determine which location should they distribute those to. So most of the country that you can name it could be New Zealand, Australia, USA, where they have a huge piece of land for cow farming. Yeah. So from the farms move to the factory, from the factory move to the warehouse, from the warehouse it moves to the distribution center. So earlier on we are talking about buying a carton of milk, let's say from a Singapore context, and assuming that the farm is in New Zealand. So that's where there's a cross-border freight forwarding to move over the milk from one location, point A to point B. Then next, which is your last mile, where the e-commerce service provider will choose the relevance in the most efficient way to deliver the goods to your doorsteps. So that's describe what's behind the scene of e-commerce, the logistics behind e-commerce.
Thank you, Joe, for sharing. I think most of us will, when it comes to logistics, most of us will think about Ninja Van or like GrabFood. So thank you for sharing the logistics. So how about the challenges? Because I'm pretty sure that you know like there's a very huge value chain, and there must be some challenges faced among the value chain suppliers.
Yes. Hazel had bring across a very good term, the value chain. So earlier on described that the entire activities from the farms to the factories to the warehouse, distribution centers, then to the customers' doorsteps. So the entire activities is a complete supply chain, which is the value chain itself. Looking at the entire connectivities, what are the challenges that the e-commerce as well as the supplier, what will they face? Let me illustrate maybe about 4 points. Or there are many other challenges, but the 4 points is well studied. First of all is the growth of demands. What does it mean by the growth of demand? Today, e-commerce is on the internet. Whoever has any internet connections through your smart devices or through your desktops, you're able to browse your product and services. So the demand from customers will grow. Why is it so? Today, we are looking at the global customers from all over the world, not just from within one country or within one region. So that is the size of the demands. With the size of the demands, my next question is, can the e-commerce solution provider or service provider cope with the demand? So that's a question to ask. Can the organizations, the value chain or supply chain cope with the demand? Do they have the capacity? Do they have the abilities to cope with demand? So that's the first challenge that a company or organization must consider to be an e-commerce player. Are they ready for that type of the size of the demand and the continuous growth of the demand? Moving forward, still focusing on customers. Customers today are much more intelligent than before. Why is it so? Just now we illustrate that each of us have at least a handphone on your palm, a few computers at home. So with these devices that's available on your hand itself, then for me or for any consumer to buy a product over the e-commerce website, you have a lot of choices. The information flow to the customers is abundant. Instantaneously, you'll be receive messages through your social media, through your instant messaging platforms. So let's say, talking about the carton of milk. If this carton of milk serves me well, I will likely to share with my friends or even with your peer. So whether it's positive or negative effect, with a few clicks on the handheld device, almost everybody within your circle of friends are aware. So that's what I mean by customers are well informed. Customers has all the information available for them to make the decisions. Not only that, with all this information on hand, customer has a choice. Customer will want to choose rather than lock in to one brand or to one products.
And they're also more like price sensitive. You can like compare prices among like different online marketplaces.
Correct. So with this type of choices and the information on hand, customers like you and me, we like to choose the lowest or the cheapest available price. So that bring you to the challenge that we mentioned. So the e-commerce, the supply chain, the value chain player, they must find a way how to keep the cost low in order to satisfy the price sensitive or price conscious customers. So this is all within the customer's space. There are many other challenges, like for example competitions. Today, competitions is not the same as in the early days. Early days is we are facing company against company. But today, we are looking at supply chain against supply chains. E-commerce against e-commerce. Who is the best? Who can provide more services? Who can provide more catalog? Who can be fastest in delivering your services or even delivering your goods? So customers, in fact, demand is high. The growth is high, competition is fierce. Not forgetting that competitions can come from any part of the world. So we are not, in the early days, we are talking about huge company against company. Today, as individuals, as long as you have all the necessary infrastructure, technology, connectivities, devices, you are able to actually start the business and be a competitors from any corner of the earth. So the fierce competitions and competitors, we do not know where will they be coming. So as current service provider on the e-commerce space, we need to be constantly scanning the environments and understanding where are the competitors, and competitors will actually evolve as well. So this is what I mean by fierce competitions or hyper competitions.
I also think that the value chain members will also need to work hand in hand to ensure in time delivery.
Yeah, is indeed. The entire value chain that we described earlier on, using that simple illustration of a carton of milk, it come from the farm, then go through the factories, going to the warehouse, distribution centers, and the retailers. Each of these value chain or each of these supplier is a company by itself. Is a business owner by itself. At the moment, have you come across in organizations that own the entire value chain from the farm to the e-commerce website?
No, not that I know of.
So exactly. So there's multiple parties, multiple supplier, multiple value chain provider, service provider, e-commerce player. This explains to you that to have a concerted efforts to collaborate with individual supplier is difficult. Let me elaborate. Each supplier, each organizations, they have their own objective. They have their own performance measurements. They have their own interests. How do you create a synchronized or shared objective among this value chain? So it takes time to reach that level. In this e-commerce space, I think only a few companies managed to at least develop a common shared visions, but there are still many work to be carried out. That's the reason why we discuss this as one of the challenges.
So let me summarize the challenges. So first will be the local and global demands,
Yes.
and then the second will be customers' expectation, because they will expect a lot from the different online marketplaces, and they are very price sensitive.
Yes.
And then the next one will be the fierce competition
Yes.
between the suppliers as well as the e-commerce players. So what are the foreseeable trends in the next 10 to 20 years?
Yeah, good questions about the future's prospect. Before we move to the future trend itself, let's understand the current situations. In the current situations, the technological aspect is one of the hot topic that a lot of conferences or even workshop are in discussions. AI, artificial intelligence, biometrics, big data, data analytical, these are some of the technologies that's currently in place. Why I bring out these few domain of technology to discuss and prepare for the to discuss the trend. Let's start with the AI. AI are still at the development stage. Imagine the AI at the moment they understand text, they understand some sentences, and they are able to be programmed. That's more important. The programming part itself, AI is also has that capability to learn. So as time goes by, maybe 20 years later, 50 years later, imagine the AI will be able to understand context. Maybe they will be able to understand emotional behavior. So that's in the future if the technologies keep on evolving and improving. So the next part is the big data or the data analytical. Big data contain a lot of data and informations. Given the data and informations that is so rich, if this data can be diced and sliced, can able to form patterns, even form meaning, then let's put these two technology together: AI, big data. Once these two converge together, do you think that the AI able to make sense of the data, able to understand the semantic as well as the schematic of the data to be able to learn, to pick up patterns? Other areas like biometrics or even neuroscience, with all this technology come into place, I will name it as a convergent technology. The convergent technologies will eventually be very powerful, and eventually it become a holistic technology. So let's imagine 50 years later and 100 years later. With all this technology in place, isn't that going to be powerful? The AI able to learn human behaviors. Maybe give you a simple example. If you're hungry now, the AI will pick up the signal from your body that you're hungry, and it trigger the orders. So isn't that going to be automations without us triggering certain device, using certain device to make decisions? So AI, perhaps to that extent, will be able to make some decisions on behalf of the humans. This is what we can imagine into the futures. Other trend could be, I would rather put it as a currency or a payment. Just now we talked about buying a carton of milk. We're going through payments, and the payments today there are many currency to use. I'm going to use USD or I'm going to use Sing dollar or pound. So in future, maybe they're going to be a unified single currency. So isn't that going to facilitate your payments and make it easy to pay?
Yeah, I think because there's a fluctuation in the exchange rate as well, so you may pay more if you are
Yes.
buying things in pounds.
So who knows, in future we call it internet currency. Today you may have bitcoins and the like. So maybe there will be one innovator or entrepreneurs to create an internet currency which everybody use the same currency and reduces all the complications of fluctuations, exchange rates, so on and so forth.
Okay, earlier on you mentioned about the convergence of AI, big data and biometrics. So can you give us one example of how this convergence of technology can improve the e-commerce in the future?
Sure. So, e-commerce being a front-end interface for the consumer to place order. So that is the current moment where we need to use devices to click or to select. And moving to to give you a more imaginative example. If I'm feeling hungry now, let's say there's a sensor around me. This sensor is connected to the AI, artificial intelligence, and the AI has studied my preference, my desire of grocery or foods. Then the next moment is that they will check my household, maybe in the refrigerators. Is there available, let's say, a bottle of milk? My favorite bottle of milk.
Big data already.
Yeah. So the AI, the regulator are all I will call it integrated as a holistic technology. So it triggers the signal, the AI check, and even to respond, saying that, yes, Mr. So and so, there's no milk in the fridge. What do you like? Then there will be a voice recognition, voice communications to say, yeah, I need a bottle of milk, maybe a brand, certain brand, and there it trigger off the order. So that's one of the potential that the convergence of technology may eventually arrive to that point. So, given the busy schedules and busy moments, we will leverage on the technologies at least to help us to save our time and to save our time in sourcing, even to let the technology to help us to create a few scenario for us to make decisions.
Okay, so let me summarize the possible trends. So first will be the convergence of technology, and then second will be the unified payment system. Alright, so thank you, Joe, for sharing your knowledge about logistics and e-commerce. So we have come to the end of the webinar. Hope you enjoy this session. See you.